Hi guys, my name is Sarah Rasmussen and I'm going to be giving a presentation on conversion therapy. So, firstly, what is conversion therapy? So, conversion therapy is the pseudoscientific practice of trying to change an individual's sexual orientation from homosexual to either bisexual or heterosexual. So, there's different forms of conversion therapy. In the past, it has included aversive treatments such as electric shocks, nausea inducing drugs presented alongside homoerotic stimuli, masturbatory reconditioning, counseling, and spiritual interventions. So, the history of conversion therapy can be divided into three periods. The first period is the psychoanalytic Freudian period. So, the founder of psychoanalysis obviously was Sigmund Freud, and Freud suggested that homosexuality could sometimes be removed through hypnosis. Freud did acknowledge that homosexuality wasn't something to be ashamed of, and that changing one's sexuality was difficult, and that success from hypnosis was rare. And he suggested these things around the 1920s and the 1930s. So Freud began this movement, this conversation around sexuality of sorts, and then in the 1950s, psychoanalytic theorist Edmund Bergler came along, and he claimed that if homosexuals wanted to change their orientation, it was successful in 90% of cases. Not quite sure how he got that claim, but he got that claim out of somewhere. And Bergler used confrontational therapy on his patients, so he would punish them, he would bully them, he would call them worthless and put them down, on all of this in an attempt to discourage their homosexual tendencies. He also put a lot of advertisements in magazines and newspapers in the United States in order to popularize his views. So through his advertising and advocating on behalf of conversion therapy, it became a lot more popularized. In turn, this view became more widespread, and in 1952, the American Psychological Association, aka the APA, classified homosexuality as a disorder in the DSM. So after this psychoanalytic period, you kind of enter this period of widespread acceptance among society. So around this time, people started to think that it was okay, more so, began to be more normalized, even though the DSM actually removed homosexuality as a mental illness in 1973, shortly after the Stonewall riots, which I believe were in 1969. And then Exodus International was formed. So what that is, or what it was an ex-gay Christian conversion therapy program. It was founded in 1976 by President Alan Chambers. So this organization claimed that reorientation of same-sex attraction was possible through faith-based practices. And their organization grew and grew and grew and ended up having over 400 local treatment centers, both nationally and internationally. After that, Joseph Nicolosi, I think is how you pronounce his last name, entered the picture in about 1990, where he published a book on reparative therapy and founded an organization called the National Association for Research and Therapy of Homosexuality. So this organization still actually exists today, even though they changed their name to the Alliance for Therapeutic Choice and Scientific Integrity in 2014. In 1998, Christian right activist groups, including Family Research Council and the American Family Association, spent over $600,000 on advertising promoting conversion therapy, which again made it more normalized, more popular, especially among religious groups. So after this period, as the gay rights movement began to gain increased traction, we kind of enter this period of declining acceptance where people start to realize that, oh wait, this might be damaging. People start to come forward with their stories of how it has damaged them, how it has caused them harm. And also alongside of this, scientifically replicable and reliable studies began to be published stating that conversion therapy not only isn't effective at all, it's also really harmful. After this, a lot of states and countries started to implement laws in the 2000s and the 2010s banning conversion therapy. Even though laws have been implemented in a lot of states, they haven't in others at all. So in the United States, There is conversion therapy banned in 19 states and 2 territories. So that's actually still a majority of states have conversion therapy legalized in some way, which is absolutely crazy. The ex-gay ministry, Exodus International, closed its doors in 2013, and the owner of the organization, Alan Chambers, ended up writing this apology, apologizing for the harm that he caused the LGBTQ plus community. And he ended up saying that in his experience or in his time with Exodus International, he found that about 99.9% of cases did not result in diminishing of same-sex attraction. So 99.9% of the people who attended conversion therapy through his organization did not experience any change whatsoever. So even though conversion therapy is something that is generally seen as bad today, and most people know that it's not effective, there are still organizations that support it and practice it behind the scenes, which is why it's really important to speak up about it. There was an instance last summer where a large megachurch in Redding, California named Bethel Church helped create and give a platform to another organization called Change Movement. And the Change Movement encouraged Christians who were experiencing unwanted same-sex attraction that they could leave homosexuality behind. So Bethel Church posted numerous photos on their Instagram account of people sharing their stories of leaving a homosexual lifestyle and being able to live a better life or more fulfilled life in some way. And they captioned these photos with the hashtag #OnceGay. So Bethel and Change Movement have both deleted and blocked all users that commented on these posts, speaking up in protest, including me. I'm blocked. So I don't know what they're up to nowadays because I can't see their profiles. But the point is that homophobia and the idea that someone's sexuality needs to be repaired or changed still exists, especially among religious communities. And most of all, it's causing massive damage to the LGBTQ plus community. So yeah, and that's why it's important to be educated on it and speak up about it. Thank you.